process, not only in terms of bench management, but also very much in terms of the training and practicing content. A lot of coaching to win. So a lot of systems, not enough skills, not enough games. So a big issue here in Czech Republic, and no surprise that we are behind as much as we are in terms of players for the NHL and developing players.
Hal, have you got any observation related to the importance of behavioral coaching to achieve results versus outcome coaching?
No, it's the same here.
Hal, please introduce yourself.
Sure.
Carla and Tomas are two friends. Tomas and I have both coached Carla. She played with the national team, and they'd like to know a little bit about the people that are on here. I think they're familiar with everybody else, Mike Benelli as well. So Hal, introduce yourself, and then I'll hear what you have to say. Okay.
Thank you. Hal Torres, I'm in Minnesota, the state of hockey, and been coaching boys hockey since 1970 something, and switched over to girls a couple of years ago. I've been very involved in the coaching education program at USA Hockey, dating back into the early 90s when it became mandatory. I've got a long blog, I've got lots of articles, I've got a lot of YouTube videos on skills that we did to help coaches. The Bukac family from Czech Republic, I've done some stuff with them. I don't know how they stand relative to the Federation, but they seem to be pretty skill oriented in their approach to the doing. I met Ludek at the World Championships in the Czech Republic during the IIHF, which maybe that's where I met Tom Malloy. I don't remember. So anyways, that's who I am. We have the same issues here. In fact, the program I was with last year, the coach's only goal was to win, and he trampled on a lot of the kids on the team. And he kind of picks his favorites when they're in 8th grade, and they get everything, and everybody else gets the crumbs along the way. I just think it's part of the culture, you know. And Wally in the United States and in Canada, both countries have 500,000 youth hockey players, or somewhere in that range. And I think, frankly, I can't speak for Canada, but I think for the U.S. that, you know, they just figure the cream will rise to the top regardless of what we do to them. And the only reason they got pretty excited about coach education is they now make $1 million a year for people paying for their online coaching certifications and so on and so forth. So, and I think that's an interesting question is, you know, how much development, you know, when you look at your top end players, how much of it is a development oriented route from beginning to end, and how much of it's just genetics and a natural affinity for playing hockey. A guy named Larry Hendrickson, he's up in northern Minnesota. Dave Hendrickson, his nephew's a coach on the Wild. I asked him one time how they produce so many great hockey players up in Virginia, Minnesota, with a population of, you know, nothing. And he says it's all in the genes. And if you look around, at least from Minnesota, the kids that are playing in the National Hockey League, most of them, their dads played in the National Hockey League, or were pretty. Alex Ovechkin's parents were world-class athletes. So, you know, I don't know where the right balance is. I prefer to coach the way we're talking about coaching, because I think, at least from my perspective, you know, hockey is just a classroom. It's just, you know, to teach so many other things to kids. And those that are good hockey players, that's terrific. The rest of them will move on, and they're going to be, you know, fathers and mothers and judges and lawyers and doctors and all those really great things. So hopefully they learn something playing hockey for us.
Wally, you're muted, and I wasn't sure if Thomas and Carla. I'm not sure if they know Tim Taylor.
Okay. And I want to get back to the thread of thought, Hal, because to me it's a very important theme, and I wanted Carla to comment on it. So go ahead, Tim Taylor and Jordan Fenton and Mike Benelli as well. Go ahead. Let's introduce yourselves to Thomas. And
Hi, Thomas. This is Tim Taylor. I'm a youth hockey coach here in the States. I've been on the Sharks calls for a few months now, and try to contribute when I can. Unfortunately, today I'm going to have to jump off shortly for another call, but glad to meet you and be involved with the group today.
Hi,
Jordan,
Tim.
Jordan, are you available? Jordan,
Yeah, I'm here, Wally.
how are you
Right.
feeling after surgery yesterday?
Oh, you're in and out, Jordan. We can't hear you. Your signal's in and out. If you can hear us. Is he in the hospital, Wally? Do you know he might have?
I don't think he's in. He might have got out.
Okay, he's maybe not in a good spot in the house. So, Mike, maybe go ahead and introduce yourself to Carla and Thomas.
Oh yeah, good morning. Mike Benelli. I'm here in New York, East Coast. Work with one of Hal's his disciples, I guess. I'm part of the coaching education program. Obviously, you've seen what he's done. Been involved with them for quite a while, actually. I coached basically every level, youth to college for a little bit, and then really in the last 35 years, just been around the East Coast building ice rinks. So a lot of twin pad facilities and building programs from scratch and trying to build community. And actually, I was late getting on the call. It's funny, how all the places that we all speak about have the same problems. I was just on with the Swedish Floorball Federation because we have a Swedish floorball team here in New York playing against some of our floorball kids, 18U kids, and trying to show how floorball and hockey relate to each other. And they were having a big problem in Sweden because the floorball programs now are having trouble getting kids because hockey and soccer has become a year-round sport. So they're saying how the kids don't have any time to do other things because the programs that, and Hal kind of hit on this a little bit, the programs that keep talking about multi-sport athletes are the ones that are eliminating the ability to play multi-sports. So, I just did New York State's select 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds this weekend. And it was on the same weekend as the largest lacrosse opening weekend we have in New York. And kids have to make these choices. These great lacrosse players have to make choices to go to ice hockey to get seen for the national program and disappoint their lacrosse teams. And it's, I don't know what the answer is, but it's, but again, that's why this call, Thomas and Carla, it's more like a therapy for me. It's like a support call to remind me that it's not, that I'm not alone down here.
That's why we do it, eh?
Yeah.
I see Dom on there.
Nice meeting you guys, and thank you for introducing yourselves. I guess I should introduce myself too. Thomas Pacina, long time friend and a student of Wally Kozak. I consider Wally as my mentor and as my Canadian father. All the jobs I've ever had was because of Wally Kozak, and I think that we all need somebody in our lives that believe in ourselves and that gives you a chance. And so Wally was that one person in my life. So I'm grateful. I have gratitude, and same thing with Tim. Tim and I coached together. I worked for Tim as a skills coach, and Tim was my assistant coach, and now we were so-called foes at the Olympics. and he pulled a big upset by Denmark beating the Czechs, so he still owes me one. Anyways, very happy. I follow you guys every week, and I listen to most of your sessions, and it's been a really good therapy for me living here in Czech Republic after 28 years. Actually, sorry, how long have I been gone? 38. Yeah, 38 years. I'm old. I've been living abroad for 38 years, came back to my home country, coached the women's national team for 2 years, and I was the head of the skill development here. And now I'm officially retired from the Czech Federation, and will take some time off. So thank you for having me on.
And
Carla, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, I could. Thanks, Wally. And similar to Thomas, thanks to everyone for having us on here today. I was part of the original, the OG group that used to meet here in Calgary. And since going to online, it just timing-wise hasn't worked quite the same, but thrilled to be on today. And, again, just you look at the community. So, Mike, I agree. It's fun to have a community. Wally and Tomas have all coached me, so I was able to play for all three of them at different points within my career, which formative, very shapely, helped me get to where I got to. I played with Dominic's sisters at the Canada Games in '95, so the hockey world ends up being quite small, but thrilled to be on here today. I'm currently coaching the UFC Dinos. I've just started with them this past year. I was with Edge School in the U18 ranks prior to that, so I have pretty good experience in the minor hockey system as well. But yeah, just love to learn about the game and enjoy the real life coaching as mentioned earlier, and the impact that potentially we can have on youngsters as they play the game and they grow. So that's the passion for me, but certainly know this group carries much more passion than that, and there's lots that we can glean off of it. So again, just happy to be here. So thanks, Wally, for sharing the link again today.
Thanks, Carla, for coming on. I'm going to have to lock my dog up here soon. Barked in the background. But Carla, when Thomas was talking and then Hal was talking, it just dawned on me the biggest interference with coaching ethically and developing everybody and daring to roll your lines and manage the bench to get the best players out. That's the art of coaching. And one thing, when I coached you at the Oval, Carla, I did roll the lines to the point of actually bad coaching probably, but we did win the national championship with that philosophy. It got me fired in major junior hockey. And I think we all struggle with it. And you and I talked at length yesterday, Carla. You've adopted a similar philosophy and a free play philosophy where players can make decisions. But I'm more interested in your thoughts on the management of the bench and the impact it has on participants at any age in being their best individually and as a team member.
Yeah, like I'm not going to bring anything to this group that probably hasn't been talked about or lived. One of the unique things I always found is there seems to be this idea that it's either winning or development in the society. You're either coaching to win or you're coaching to develop. And I don't understand that. I think the coaches that I played for developed us to win, and that's what I look to do too. I think at the end of the day, especially when you're in the minor hockey world, like I always said to my group, I don't know what your role is going to be at the next level, so I need you to have a foundation in all of it. There's so many variables that go into it, Wally, that we all know, and the pressures and stresses, the parent groups, the organizations, the expectations, everything's so unrealistic that I think as a coach, you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't in a lot of ways. And, I know, Tim, you just lived it in a capacity there too. And it's just like, you can't win for trying so often. So, I have no advice by any means. I just feel like at the end of the day, you stay true to who you are. And if your group believes in who you are, that's where I was able to have some success. And honest communication, open communication. People knew when they came into my program, everyone played. You'll see everyone on the penalty kill. You see everyone on the power play. And, when we got to playoff time, I always had a chat with my team before playoffs and just asked them, what do you want? Do you want to continue what we're doing because it's working, it's fine, or do you want me to manage in different situations? And they ultimately said, well, we want you to manage. So that kind of gave me the green light then to just make those subtle little calls, the management side of the game. But man, if any of us could figure this out, let's write a book because we're going to be gazillionaires. But I think for me, I got to be able to put my head on my pillow every night, recognizing that I'm doing right by all the people I work with and all the players I'm trying to impact. And again, that was modeled for me when I played for the gentleman on this call. And I know that that's what made me love the game. And I just try to pay that forward. And like I said to you yesterday, Wally, all I can hope is that maybe a handful of the women I work with will one day coach, and that philosophy will resonate with them, and they can continue to pay it forward. So I think all of it's easier said than done, but I think staying true to our core values is actually the only thing we can do and impact the group we work with. And hopefully that spreads throughout the community along the way. So it's tough. There's no doubt about it. It's tough. And I question myself all the time. I question myself with the Dinos now. Do I need to match lines more? Do I need to manage? Like, I'm uncertain there. So, like, you can kind of figure out one way and then you get to a different level and you start questioning yourself again. So I'm kind of in that phase right now.